Hello, today we're talking about Etsy's purchase protection program, which is alliteration to make it easy to remember, but not easy for me to say. So thanks for that, Etsy. It's just all the P's. Etsy's purchase protection program. Okay, I've got it. Anyway, let's just get the meltdown out of the way early in the video. When I first heard about it, I'm not going to lie, red flags everywhere, and I just thought this is not going to be good. This is going to be to protect buyers and not sellers, and no offense to buyers, I am one, but I just thought this is nothing good. Since they came out and they officially announced this purchase protection program, I've actually read through all of their gumph, and I am quietly optimistic, but obviously we will know more once it is rolled out, which will be the 1st of August this year, 2022. So if you are watching in the future, it's already here. How is it? Okay, so you probably know about it, but if you don't, it is a program that Etsy have brought in to try and boost trust in the community, both on the buyer's side and on the seller's side. And they've done this by, well, essentially, if anything goes wrong with an order, and by goes wrong, I mean if an order goes missing or it arrives damaged, and I believe if the buyer raises a case, it's a way for the buyer to get a refund and for it to not come out of the seller's pocket. And it also now explains the recent transaction fee increase, doesn't it? When Etsy say they are paying for it, we're paying for it. Now, as somebody who is paying this transaction fee increase, as we all are, I do have issues with it though, and I will explain why later on in this video. But for now, on the surface, it looks like a good thing to protect both buyers and sellers and to just increase trust on either side on the platform. All good things. All right, so that's what it is. Let's get the gumph out of the way. As a seller, you can only qualify if you hit certain criteria, of course. One is that it is only covering orders that total up to $250 or whatever your country's currency equivalent is. So here in the UK, our equivalent would be about £199. And when they say the total cost, they mean the item and the postage cost and the fees involved. So that's a lot to squeeze into that. Most of us should be, I say most of us, I will be okay because I don't make anything hugely expensive and my postage costs aren't huge. So I don't think I will get to that threshold. But obviously this does mean that anybody who sends, say for example, bespoke furniture or anything, they will probably end up having to just buy their own insurance, postage insurance, which they're probably already doing. But again, I'm going to come back to this. So yes, it has to be only up to $250 worth. Wrong currency, Kim. You have to have sent that item out tracked, or you have to use Etsy postage labels. I'll come back to that. You have to have an estimated delivery date. It has to be dispatched on time. Well, yeah. And it has to be packaged carefully. Again, yeah. And it has to be listed accurately. Again, yeah. But we all know that there are sellers, unfortunately, out there who do not. And I've been stung by one of those myself. It's not much fun. That's all the boring gumph that you've probably already heard of before. So that's why I'm just sort of going over it very, very quickly. You don't need to hear me sort of state the obvious again. And if you do want more information, in fact, even if you don't want more information, I do recommend you going through it and giving it a good read just to update yourself as to what this is and how it might affect you or not. And there is weight in that or not, because this won't apply to a lot of people. Seeing as this hasn't been rolled out yet, it's very difficult to give you pros and cons, because until it is rolled out and we've started using it, it's another one of those things that we just don't know. So what I'm going to do instead is give you what I think sounds good about it, and then what I don't think sounds so good about it. All right, well, one of the best things is obviously the trust factor. While people trust Etsy as a platform to buy on, unfortunately, over the last couple of years, we have seen an injection of both sellers and buyers, but from a buyer's point of view, sellers that are just there to make a quick buck, and they scam. And it's hurting the platform's reputation, and unfortunately for the rest of us sellers, it's hurting our reputation by association. This will boost buyer trust in the platform because they know that if things go completely up in the air, then they will still get their money back. They're protected. So yeah, that's got to be a good thing. And then from a seller's point of view, we know that we're not going to be out of pocket. Again, that's got to be a good thing. This is something important because when I first heard about this, my initial reaction was, oh great, it's going to be a free-for-all. It's going to start attracting the kind of buyers who are just going to scam the system, and you know, sellers are going to be out of pocket. And I was just like, oh, this is terrible. Etsy are going to be keeping track of the buyers that raise these cases, and if there appears to be anybody who is playing the system, they will themselves as a buyer will not be covered by this program. So, you know, that's good. Accountability on both sides. That's good. And 3, I put this down, although it did make me giggle. It is optional. The reason why that made me giggle was because this is something that essentially costs Etsy money in a sense. So we don't have to opt into it. But anything that costs us money, like Etsy offsite ads, you know, we can opt out up to a point and then we're in, whether we like it or not. Hey Etsy, I see you. But yes, it's optional. I assume they're going to automatically opt everybody in when they roll it out, and then we'll have to go back in and opt out of it if we don't want to take part. Again, I assume it might be the other way. Okay, so the things that don't sound so good about this. There are a lot of countries that may be excluded from this. And when I say countries, I mean more so sellers in certain countries. Sellers who can't for any reason send items out tracked. So obviously the next option then is to use Etsy postage labels, which are still not available to every country. And this is what I alluded to at the start of this video. If we are all paying for this with the recent fee increase, that means all sellers are pretty much bankrolling this, and yet it is something that not all sellers are going to be able to take part in, which seems a little bit unfair. But yes, that is something that doesn't sound so great about this program. Similarly, if you sell big items or items where postage is expensive, obviously that will probably tip you over the $250 threshold, which means you're going to have to sort yourself out with insurance anyway. So yeah, again, not great. This is a smaller one, but it might be problematic for some, and this is that you have to use the address that is provided on Etsy, which means the address that the buyer has put on their Etsy account. So not every buyer who purchases from you and then asks you to send it to a different address is trying to scam you in some way. Some people just genuinely forget that the address that they've got on profile is an old one, or they might be buying something and they want it to be sent as a present to somebody else. So this is going to be problematic. Okay, now at the moment, the way that Etsy have worded this policy, I'm a bit confused as to how this might work in reality. Now, they have said that if you have insurance or postage cover or whatever you want to call it with another postage carrier, that you contact them in the first instance before you contact Etsy. But this to me is a bit of a flag that almost, well, so as a UK seller, that anything I send out, I am immediately going to have to contact Royal Mail first before I contact Etsy, every time. Because if I were to send something by Royal Mail first class, it's still automatically covered to a certain amount. I think with my packaging, it's automatically covered for up to £20. So that's not something I pay extra for, it's just in the cost of the postage. So does that mean that I would therefore, if anything goes missing, have to contact Royal Mail first and then go to Etsy? But what, if they say no, if Royal Mail say no, then go to Etsy? I'm a bit confused about that one. This is what Etsy actually says. If a seller has obtained third-party insurance or has carrier and or payment processor coverage, we ask that they first submit a claim to their primary coverage. Etsy will process the order only when other coverages do not apply. To me, the devil is often in the detail, and the detail is the wording, and the wording has just been left open enough to be interpreted in very different ways. I don't know, if anybody has any take on this, I would love to hear it, because this is another reason why I like making videos like this because I get to talk to other people and you just get to see it from other angles, and it's just golden. So yeah, if anybody has any thoughts, let me know. So yes, on the face of it, it does seem like it's a good thing to have. I guess my overall feeling on this is that prevention is better than cure. So fingers crossed, nobody would ever need to rely on this ever. And if anybody did request a refund or anything, something like that, if there was an issue, that the buyer and the seller could sort it out themselves without it getting escalated. And with that in mind, because this is rolling out on the 1st of August and we are, what is the date today? I'm filming this on Thursday the 9th of June. So yes, we have some time is my point. We have some time to get our shops ready. Make sure you give your policies a once over and just make sure that they are tight. I did my own yesterday. If you don't have any policies, and it kills me, some sellers still don't have policies in their shop. Please put policies in. If for no other reason, then we know now that from an SEO point of view, Etsy favours shops that are complete. And complete means policies. So I know they're boring, but do it. Or don't. You know, I can't tell you what to do. I'm not your mum. Anyway, I did. I went back. I checked my policies. They're fine. And then the other thing is to make sure that your photographs are tight as well. It's been a while since I've been wanging on about the importance of photographs, but so important. You need to put all of the information in the photographs. I know that Etsy have recently said that they now use the descriptions for SEO. That's Etsy. That doesn't mean that buyers are just overnight going to start reading your descriptions. Don't rely on your descriptions to sell to your buyers. By all means, do the SEO thing for Etsy. That's grand. And put the information there for people like me who do go reading the descriptions. But just assume that buyers aren't going to see it, and then make sure that the important information is in your photographs. So tell me your thoughts on this thing. Are you thinking, yeah, this could be great? Or are you thinking, oh, I don't trust this? I'd genuinely love to know, because again, I'm curious. Etsy are bringing out a lot of like, ooh, some interesting stuff lately. Right, I'll see you next week. Ta-ra.